and we're talking about Guinea Conakry, all the way from Namibia, a jungle country from a desert country. Welcome back to Pod on the Way.
Pod on the Way from Namibia.
This is Hussein Abbas.
And this is Bettina Gottschalk.
And we're talking about Guinea Conakry, all the way from Namibia, a jungle country from a desert country.
We like the opposites.
Always.
Yeah.
How is it going?
It's cold, it's warm, it's all you don't know.
So I actually represent the weather.
Just someone told us in Schwackermund that the weather here in Namibia is like a woman.
No, he said the weather is a female.
Yeah, the weather is a female, you know.
Because it keeps changing.
Yeah, there's no what it wants.
So it's a woman.
That's the joke. Well, however, it's cold, it's warm, but we are here and we're enjoying it and we won.
We're in Egypt, by the way. I don't know if you can see Abu Hawl behind us.
I call it Sphinx.
We call it Abu Hawl. So that's the original name.
We don't know the name.
The Egyptians, they speak Arabic, you know, so it's Abu Hawl.
And no one knows.
So yeah, we're gonna, how is it going?
Good. Enjoying the time here and it has beautiful sunsets. Finally, you can see the horizon.
Yeah, actually you can see behind us.
Yeah.
And it's been almost 1 year on the road now.
Yeah.
And Guinea was our fourth month on the road. Yeah, we entered Guinea back in May, I guess.
After Ramadan.
Yes, after Ramadan. So in May.
Yeah.
We entered the Guinea in May.
And it was just the beginning of the rainy season.
It was actually the last month of the dry season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we entered and it was just still the dry season.
Yeah. So it was still very yellow and dry, and we didn't expect, that Guinea will be that dry also when we entered, and there was this small flies everywhere.
Well, they were not only in the dry season, they were also in the other.
But Guinea has a special place for both of us, I guess.
Yeah, and it is also the first country I had to apply for.
For a visa.
Which was so strange because, European passport, many times you don't have to. And then first time to apply, Hussein was without any problem.
Enter. Welcome home.
West Africa, Central Africa, no problem for him. I had to apply more or less for quite a lot of countries in West Africa, but I didn't expect to have a lot of passport pages. And it's just like, actually it was quite easy. I felt bothered, but it was easy.
It was easy visa. It's not like me now. I'm struggling with Botswana or, you just ask for many things. There, nobody asked you for a flight ticket. Nobody asked you. Just simple things, passport.
It was online visa and it's valid for 3 months. It's 75 euros and you have single entry. And usually you get like in 3-4 days you should have an answer, which I already done.
And you should have a credit card that has supports the 3G QCC.
Yeah.
So you can pay.
But you have to be a little bit careful when you do the online application because you have to put the country where you are at in.
Yeah.
Like as example for us, it was Senegal because if something happens, you can go at least to the embassy because sometimes there is problems.
Yeah.
This online application. Especially Guinea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So but all went fine. Got the visa, was easy. Had the paper, had to print it, and that was.
And then passed to the border.
And then we went to the border, and.
In the borders, we had to go through so many offices. It was the longest border ever.
Took us like around 2 hours.
No, way more. We started actually at 10. We finished at 3 p.m.
Yeah, because the thing is that they're like, it felt like you have millions of border posts on offices you have to go to. Like
just to put you into perspective, also that Guinea had a coup not last year, the year before. So they have a new military government, and because of that, the country is very safe and it's very stable, not so many troubles or anything like that. But because of that, I think the borders were more. You have to go through more things because maybe they were scared that there is something happening or something like that. So we had to go through like 5 or 6 offices in different places, and it was just too much, and we never. It was the only country after Morocco where the cars had to go through these big scanners, because I think they are scared that people smuggle weapons inside for coups or stuff like that. So that's the only time actually we had to go through a big scanner after Morocco.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, so far.
I don't know how.
Other countries, we never went through this big scanners where they have to scan the car and all these things.
Yeah.
But in general, the borders were quite easy. It was not so complicated for the car because we don't have the Carnet de Passage. We just had to make the chip, and the chip we made it for 2 months. And the guy, the head chef of the Diwan, he asked, not him, but his employee asked for 15,000 CFA, which is around 20 euros, I guess.
15.
Or 15 euros. No, 10,000 CFA, which is 15 euros.
Yeah.
We paid 10,000 CFA, which is 15 euros for the tip, and it was valid for 2 months. And that's it. We were good to go. We left our friends Florent and Louis. They went down farther, and we took India, and we were still taking it slow into the country.
Yeah.
And that would bring me to your first impressions about Guinea.
Yeah, it was actually quite interesting because we came from the border from Senegal, so people were like super happy to see us.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, hey, and screaming and like waving, and like it was like, wow, okay, what's happening here? And the thing is really that they are not used so much to tourists.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like something very, very special to see, let's say, white people.
Yeah.
And they're excited and happy. And
The first day we met this guy, we were just taking pictures of the car on the street because first time we see mountains after a very long time. And we stopped, and this guy came to us, and he just came from the river, this fisherman. And then he showed us around the river, and then he jumped on top of the mango tree. He collected some mangoes, and he gave us mangoes, and he was so happy. And then he called his dad, and his dad was so happy also to visit us, please. And so it was a very nice feeling because it was very different than Senegal. Very, very different. You enter another Africa.
because also the thing is,
It's actually interesting, It's always when you cross the border, something new happens.
Yeah, the thing is also that I think a lot of people, which they come from Europe, they just go Morocco until Senegal, and then they go back. Because also it's easier to travel because also the roads in Guinea, they are a little bit different than in Senegal.
Well, in general, we didn't have the worst roads in Guinea. We had one road that was bad, but in general, Guinea the roads are being developed so far.
More or less, it's also that like in the last few years, they made a lot of effort for the roads. The Chinese, they built so many roads and fast roads and like the problems what we hear from people who travel back in the past, it's not like this anymore. If you go off-road, yes, you have this thing, but the main roads, mostly they're good. In the north, not so much yet, but they are going there.
Yeah, but in general, it was easy going. It was not... We had the worst road in our life so far was in Guinea, for sure.
Yeah.
And still, I think Guinea has better roads than a lot of other countries when it comes to the main roads, than other countries that we have been to. But for me, the first impressions, because we entered and it was hot. You remember, we were still
I remember.
And it was hot, and it was bushy, and it was empty, and it was a little bit strange because I remember our first night we camped inside this forest because we were searching for water where we can actually park next to the water, and we ended up working in this open area, and it just felt so strange. And then new things, like you're just sitting there and you see new flies coming and sucking you, and you don't understand what is it. And then I remember I left you, they went for a walk inside the bush, and there's this mushroom termite, And I was like, wow, this is new, This is a new country. This is something really refreshing, and it's just, I was like, okay, maybe it's worth exploring, And I was so happy because finally, after like 40 days, we will travel alone, me and Bettina, because Florent and Louis, they were not with us in this time. We were alone, and I was like, okay, finally we can be alone also. And I liked it because it has been a long time we were not just the two of us, and we can decide, whenever we want to wake up and what happens and everything like that. So it had its own very good first impressions for me. I didn't feel very, very bad in the beginning, and also especially the mountains. I'm in love.
Yeah, well, the thing is also about Guinea, it was for us more or less more relaxed because we had 3 months.
Yes, also.
So this is
We stayed 2 months in Guinea, and
Yeah.
it's quite some time.
it is really a thing if you have time, because if you have like 3 months, you can be very flexible. If you like it, you stay long. If you don't like it, you go. But you have the choice, and that's also something which was very helpful for us in Guinea, because also what we made many times, we were staying quite long in places.
Yeah, if we count how many places we stayed in Guinea, I would think maybe they are lesser than Angola or something like that. But Guinea, we stayed like a really long time in one spot, and that brought us a lot of new impressions and experiences and friendships and a lot.
Yeah, and also that we could connect with the people. And also about Guinea, the thing is, for me personally, from the impression what I have is that it's not a country which is made for tourism. Like as example, if you plan to travel to Guinea, I wouldn't say that there are like wow beautiful hotels or
No, there is not the infrastructure for tourism, but there is the natural beauty.
Yeah, the natural beauty, but you don't have like very beautiful. In Conakry, I guess there are very nice hotels you can stay at, but I'm talking about you go to the beach and you have
You're talking about luxury.
Yeah, exactly. This
This
cannot expect there, but I love the fact that it's like unexplored and that has its own charm.
Yeah.
Because for an overlander, it was really like you go somewhere, you ask the people, hey, can I stay here? Oh, yeah, no problem. And then you chat with them and you come in contact with them, and they're very like,
and they come and sit next to you.
happy, and they watch you, and like you're always with people in Guinea actually, and that's the beauty about Guinea.
Yeah, also. And the people are very, very, very nice,
Yeah.
The people of Guinea, they're just in another level. Not everyone, but, everywhere there is stones and there is sand, so.
Yeah, well, there is one thing about Guinea what I don't appreciate so much, and that's the thing. If there is things for tourists, they really make expensive. And also they are annoying and make trouble. Like as example, there are the waterfalls, which are very famous. And then also there are some hikes, or there are some like elephant searching trails or these things. Then they ask for $50 per person, or the nature park and stuff, which is way overpriced. Because also maybe you don't even see the elephant. And then also the problem is if you go to a place where there is a touristical spot, maybe the local people, they will very much annoy you and come and ask you for money and ask you for $100 to stay here and then. But these are...
This is like it's standards.
Yeah.
It's the standard in a lot of African countries.
Not only, I mean, it's not only in African countries. I mean, if you go to
Paris
touristical
also,
places, there are annoying people.
Yeah, that's it. That's all karma.
Yeah.
But just to put you into perspective, traveling through Guinea is not the easiest one when it comes to getting money, as an example.
Yeah.
To getting supplies, which is like food, supermarkets. This is something you dream about. But in the other hand, you have everywhere fresh, like tomatoes, like our experience because we travel in this time.
You're depending on the season.
Depending on the season, yes. But we could manage to have always like vegetables to cook with. Not everything, like not potatoes and stuff, but like their vegetables, more or less. We managed to find fake potato there also that we like so much.
Yeah.
But to get money, it's very difficult because there's maybe 1 or 2 banks that actually accepts international cards.
Plus you can just get...
And you can only get...
60 euros?
No, 90 euros.
90 euros?
1 million.
Yeah, 90 euros per
withdrawal. And you pay 5 euros for it.
So yeah, and then also sometimes they are empty, the ATMs or this and that. So yeah, if you find an ATM, get a lot of money.
But network-wise, it was good because you can actually have internet everywhere. It's a little bit more expensive, but you still can have internet everywhere.
The reach is quite good.
Yeah, the reach is very good actually in the country. There is very good coverage. Supplies-wise, unless you are in Conakry, it's very difficult to actually buy European stuff.
Yeah.
It's very,
sometimes very rare.
Very rare to find.
There you can find a Mauritanian shop. And maybe
or you find something like in the big, like Labi or Kinja, you can find.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you wouldn't find like these things. But you can find eggs, milk, the powder, small shops. These things you can find and you can manage to find easily.
Yeah, and for the water, also many times we found that
water is available everywhere. Yeah.
And
there's water wells with the pump.
Yeah, there you ask the villagers and they
you don't have even to ask. Sometimes you just go and fill and that's it.
It's not a problem because it's made from the government and it's a natural source and everyone can take it.
And fuel-wise, I think you can find it like in most major towns. It was not a problem fuel-wise for us.
Fuel is sometimes a problem when they have some strikes or protests.
Yeah, like right now at this moment, there was an explosion in the fuel company somewhere in Guinea, so there is a lot of shortage in fuel. But in general, you don't have struggles and you have struggles. It depends on what type of lifestyle you want to do.
Yeah.
But for us, as an example, we have a lot of times, like from rice and avocado or mangoes, and it was like our main meal.
And also we have cans. We have a stock of cans, which is always helpful in case you have a shortage. You use those things.
Apart from that, it was fun. It was not so complicated when it comes to supplies.
And wild camping is also
everywhere.
Not a problem at all. Like mostly, if there is a village.
Apart from Guinea.
Yeah, apart from forested Guinea, especially in the northern region, because there.
North.
Yeah, in the forest Guinea. No.
Not
the upper part.
I don't understand.
Where we were driving the highway and there were closing so many farms.
That's not the north. That's the east.
From Forest Guinea.
Yeah, it's not Forest Guinea, but that's the east. It's not Forest Guinea, but that's East Guinea.
Yeah. So there it was a little bit difficult because there's a highway, a lot of farms. Plus the people, they are not used to tourists.
No, the problem was not the farms or the highway. The problem was that the road, not highway, the road had roadblocks from the side, so you cannot go out, but not the farms. There is plenty of, if you want to drive over the step and go inside the canal and out of the road, it's fine.
But also in this region, it's a little bit like so that the people are not really used to tourists and they are scared.
This is in Can region.
That's actually something what I never thought about before. Like more or less, as a traveler, I was scared of people. But I never thought about the fact that people can also be scared of me. And there it happened that people were scared of us. So, also think a little bit about it, that people can also be scared if there is a car with a foreign plate just parking in front of their house. So, it's also good to ask sometimes.
What was your biggest challenge in Guinea?
My biggest challenge in Guinea? Well, I would say the breakdown. What we had.
Okay.
Why the breakdown? Because the problem was a little bit that when we had a breakdown, this insect bite me also.
Yeah, we had an allergy.
And I had a very bad allergy. And it was not nice then because I had the allergy and we didn't know how long we will stay there. I mean, it was good because we were next to a village and they were very cute and helpful. But this was a little bit like a struggle. And then through all this and we arrived in the city and like the chain of things what happened there, this was a little bit like difficult because also it was our first breakdown.
Yeah, it was our first breakdown that caused up ever in the trip after 4 or 5 months. The car actually cannot move,
and we are like in the middle of, because this was not a real road, it was a piste and it was an area where there are not a lot of traffic, and then we had to ask for someone to rescue us, kinda.
It was, I mean, if I would do it now, because back then it was our first breakdown, I didn't have any information, but now I wouldn't call the mechanics from Kisdugo. I will take any small mechanic there, and just fix it, because I thought maybe it's a major problem, but, I believe that all this bush mechanics in Africa, especially in West Africa, they're quite flexible. They can always repair things quickly. Small repairs, and you can keep going, and then you can reach the other destination, because the problem was very tiny, it was not huge. But since we had to wait for the mechanic to come all the way from the other city, it took some time. That's why. For me, the biggest challenge actually was twice. It was the problem that we had when we received our package back in Conakry. The corruption. So my biggest challenge is the corruption, and we had it twice. We had it there first time, and second time we had it in Cannes. it kind of when the police, like 6 or 7 police officers,
Yeah.
were screaming and shouting around.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a challenge for me just because it's just like I see that I have nothing to do against it, that if I would be in Morocco, I know if someone is doing this to me, I know how to deal with it more or less.
Yeah.
I know that I can sue them and go crazier than that.
Plus also you don't know exactly the laws,
Yeah.
and then they use this against you because they know that you don't know.
No, that's not my point. My point is that if I would be in Morocco and someone does this to me, I will take his badge number, his name or whatever, and they will sue him because it's very disrespectful and it's not allowed and all these things. But there is just, the only thing I could do is shout back against them and go against them with another, source of power, which is shouting also. They were shouting, I was shouting. I was not scared, I was not terrified from them or anything like that. I was fine. It's just, it annoyed me that I couldn't do anything against them, That's the thing.
Yeah, the problem in Guinea especially is that there is so much corruption. The military, more or less, they never did anything about it, like about us. They were always totally fine and respectful. And
Yeah, mostly it's the police.
but it is always the police. And then also from our friends who are Guinean, they told us that it's very, very, very bad. Even like if they just go by foot to the market, the police comes and hits them and asks for money. So the topic corruption is very difficult in Guinea, and that's also a reason what it's keeping down the country.
What's your highlight about Guinea? Your highlight moment or moments?
My highlight is still that we stayed with Susanna and her family. And also the thing with the snakes, what we did with Florent and Eloise.
Okay.
Actually, there are, like in Guinea, there are so many...
Yeah, Mount Mali also was.
Yeah, there are so many moments which I really appreciate.
Yeah, that's why actually Guinea has a very special place in our hearts, because we have so many nice moments from that country. Even though we have like I would say 2 or 3 bad moments in Guinea with the police and stuff, but apart from that, we had really
Good encounter.
good encounters in the country.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed the country, to the max.
Yeah, also for me, and I think also for you, it's a big point. How are the people? Because we are like searching for the connection to the people. We want to see the culture. We want to meet the people. And in Guinea, we really had good experiences and we had good encounters, and they were welcoming and very lovely.
And also,
that's why we enjoyed it.
The thing for me about Guinea is that you have human encounters, you have nature encounters, you have your own calming down moments also. So it was a good balance, You could actually have a life, like we go sometimes sightseeing, we go see something, and then we enjoy it, and then we drive down, we meet some nice people somewhere, we chill with them, and we stay long in one place, we relax, we do some work, and it was just a nice thing, And the country was very photogenic,
Yeah.
because it was undiscovered and unmodernized, let's call it this way, that it's not yet being put into these perspectives. There is not like electricity wires everywhere.
It's very authentic.
It's very authentic in a nice way, and that it's very photogenic, and you feel that the nature is very raw and nice and not overused. So that was a beautiful thing. And there is a beautiful sunset behind us now. Sunset is falling, which means we have to rub this soon.
Yeah, it's getting cold.
But for Guinea, culturally speaking, how did you find it? What sticks in your head?
So what sticks in my head is actually something funny, because this is something you have to get used to. It's some countries. So it's like very common in the north that the women, they don't wear a bra, and there is like a kind of nudity from my perspective, because the women, they are like just washing themselves topless, and like even sometimes some guys are using the bathroom just on the road,
Yeah.
So you see this more or less, and it was like very surprising for me to like okay, what's happening? But that's really where I was like, okay, what's happening here? I remember when we went to Kapadaga and the woman, she was like washing her clothes and making these things. And then she was like topless and she's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, hi. So yeah, it's
So for me, what sticks in my head about Guinea culturally is that I never expected that the country has so many ethnicities.
Yeah.
And that they actually have a little bit of hate to each other. And that these ethnicities and these groups of people that you can feel and you can actually sense which one is it just from the way they talk, the way they behave, the way they dress. And it's very, very interesting because we met a lot of Pearl people. We met a lot of what other ethnicities, actually I forgot all the names.
Madeira quite.
But there is like over 40 ethnicities in the country, but there's major like 4 or 5, the major ones. And it's very interesting because I never imagined that actually Guinea was Muslim and it has a majority of Muslim people. I never imagined that Guinea has actually this much languages. You know, I always thought that maybe it's like Senegalese speak Wolof and that's it. But they have so many languages and each ethnicity speaks a different language.
Yeah.
And I never imagined actually Guinea actually to be that much green. You know?
Yeah.
Because most travelers travel through Guinea in dry skin and it's very yellow. And when we were there, it was like we entered like around 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It was not 3, around 2 weeks. It was quite yellowish, but as we went more inside the country, it started raining and directly everything became green. And it became really, really green after some time.
Just we didn't see the Kapadaga really full because we entered and it was still dry season. It just started
it was
raining.
the end of the rainy season.
Yeah, so it just started, so there was not really water.
Yeah.
But later it was very green and it was raining.
Yeah, that's true. But that's actually one of the things that sticks in my head, that Guinea has a lot of ethnicities, you know. And it's quite a busy country, yeah. Even though you wouldn't think there is quite a lot of people in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Namibia where you don't see anyone, or Senegal. Senegal sometimes also has like some places where there's not a lot of.
Yeah, but they have so many people everywhere and they have so many kids everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it does still represent for me a nice coexistence system, you know, because as you remember in the village
but depending on place.
People, they live together. There is Christian, there is African religions, there is Muslims, and they live together, and that's it, you know. That's it.
But what is your favorite place?
In Guinea?
Yeah.
I have 2 favorite places in Guinea, actually. But yeah, 2 favorite places.
Okay.
Mount Nimba is second one. First one is always going to be the forest, Guinea.
With the village.
It's not about the village, it was the spot. I like the fact that we were in the middle of the jungle and you can go inside this small door every morning and you are in this, wow, you know, the sounds, the light, the drops, the fog. It's just so beautiful. And we stayed there for 7 days. We were out of food. We ate for like 4 days or 5 days, every day rice and avocado.
Yeah.
Our poop was green from that. But yeah, it was my favorite. What about you? The village.
Yeah, the village. Also, one thing, they speak French, and in the village there was Susanna, and she speaks English, or she speaks Pidgin English. In the beginning, I didn't know that there is Pidgin English, so I was questioning what kind of English is this that I don't understand it. Now I know.
Yeah.
So it's different English, and but we could talk, and it was nice. Either way, it was always French, and I'm not really good in French. So yeah, this was number 1, and
number 2.
Number 2 is also actually Mount
Nimba. Yeah, it was fun. It was nice.
We had a good run there.
Yeah. Well, that's it for us. I think that's the
sunset.
That's the sunset went down, so it's getting cold. Bettina has goosebumps already.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening to us.
If you have any questions, please leave a comment or hit us up.
And that's our episode about Guinea Conakry. And see you in the next one about Ivory Coast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.